Big movie theaters dominate the movie industry. These theaters show movies all day and all night, averaging 150 showings a week. That is not the case in the smaller towns that surround the bigger cities. Drive an hour and a half south of Lincoln to Fairbury and you'll find the Bohnam Theater. It isn't just a place to see a movie, it's a symbol of community resilience. Built in 1926 by Universal Pictures and local investment group led by banker Luther Bohnam, it earned the title the Showplace of Southeast Nebraska. On its opening day, September 27, 1926, over 3,000 people squeezed into the theater. It was the crown jewel of the region's entertainment for 86 years, until the summer of 2012, when they had to close the theater because they no longer could keep up with the maintenance.
The theater wasn't here, in essence, for 5 years, and I think the community lost out on just something that was part of their history. They lost out on just another recreational opportunity. There aren't a lot here in a small town like Fairbury. Our bowling alley closed years ago. There's the parks and there's sports and stuff with schools and stuff, but there's not a lot of other things to do.
Bohnam didn't stay closed for long. A movement ignited on social media, connecting over 1,500 people who refused to let the building stay abandoned. They formed the nonprofit Bohnam Theater Project, purchased the building, and began a 5-year journey of fundraising and renovation. In a poetic nod to its history, the theater held its grand reopening on September 27, 2017, the 91st anniversary of its original debut.
Yeah, when the theater first reopened, we were very busy. We had a great first year here because it was exciting. The theater was new and everything.
Today, the Bohnam Theater Project works to bring the movies to Fairbury while preserving a piece of the past. It hasn't been an easy journey. To keep ticket prices accessible and the doors open, the Bohnam operates entirely on the backs of local volunteers.
Looking for something to do, I'm not gonna lie. Moved down here, I didn't have a job, and sitting at home was not fun, so I just wanted something to do. I love movies, I absolutely love movies, and I'm like, I can go work at the movie theater and watch movies. It sounded great. Very quickly, I found that I wasn't watching movies because I was working out at the concession stand all the time. And then once I became a board member, I said, I can't let the volunteers cover. I'm like, I will cover out here. And so it just kind of worked into that. Now as manager, I always am out front during the movies, so I don't get to watch movies much anymore, unfortunately. But my volunteers, not all of them are here to watch movies. It's amazing because a lot of them won't stay to even watch the movie. They'll come here, help us open, and then they'll go home and do something or go somewhere else and then come back and help us clean up. They just want to help out. There's people that know how important the theater is to the community, and so they just want to help out. This gives people something else that they can still do, and like we use this building not only for movies but for other presentations and stuff too, just to try to give people as much as we can provide for things to do here in town.
Drive an hour north from the Bohnam Theater and you will find the Rivoli Theater. In downtown Seward, the Rivoli Theater sits as the town's primary video entertainment center. Originally opened in 1941, it was an innovative piece of architecture designed to transport audiences far away from the plains of Nebraska with its New Deal-era murals and iconic blade sign. But the bricks and mortar are only half the story. The soul of the Rivoli belongs to the Weishart family. Purchased by Chuck and Julie Weishart in 1979, the theater became a family project. For over 40 years, Julie was the face of the Rivoli. She believed that the lobby was a community living room, a place where people could come together over shared interests. Today, even after her passing in 2025, that legacy endures under the leadership of her 2 daughters. If you walk past the ticketing booth and deeper into the building, you'll find one of Nebraska's secret gems. Tucked into the back of the theater is a fully stocked DVD rental store. It's a physical time capsule in a digital world. In an era where movies are streamed into pocket-sized devices, the Rivoli keeps the tactile joy of browsing through the bins alive. An hour and 40 minutes north of the Rivoli, you will reach the Majestic Theater in Wayne. While many small-town screens faded into history, the Majestic found a second life through local volunteers.
Kind of turned into I'm now on the schedule to volunteer all the time, and it's just something that I really enjoy doing. I love giving back to the community, and when it's something that I feel so strongly about is just how movies and theaters bring everybody together, it was just like a perfect fit to be able to help out.
But behind the charm of the volunteer staff concession stands lies a lot of history and behind-the-scenes work that many visitors never see. When a major studio film arrives, it comes with a set of rules. If any theater, including the Majestic, chooses to show a blockbuster on its national opening day, they enter a contract with the production company. These agreements mandate that the film stays on the screen for a minimum of 2 consecutive weeks. In a single screen house, with a limited number of showings per week, that commitment is a massive gamble. Every night dedicated to one film is a night they cannot show anything else, forcing the theater to bet everything on every premiere they pick.
There are so many big titles coming this year, and I want to make sure I open certain ones. My challenge then this year is filling in those little bit of gaps. We can't play them. We have to put it off for a few weeks before we can show them. If any of those movies that we want to play overlap the ones that we're opening, then we might not get to play them, or we might have to wait several weeks before we can. That being said, we actually just posted something on Facebook to get the community involved, because we have this gap between Devil Wears Prada and Mandalorian. And we're slated to play Michael, but we want to see if there's other movies that people want to see.
The financial reality is even tighter than the schedule. Production companies require a minimum guaranteed payment for their movies. The Majestic and other rural theaters typically use nearly all the money from ticket sales just to cover those studio fees. The Majestic Theater doesn't run on ticket sales. It runs on popcorn, candy, and soda. The concession stand is the real engine. It's the revenue that actually pays the utility bills, the maintenance, and for the future of this historic building. Navigating these thin margins requires a lot of coordination. It takes a constant balancing act between studio demands and the needs of a local audience.
Is where we make our money. And that's, I think, very important for people to understand, that we don't get much of the income or the money generated from those ticket costs. They go to the movie studios. They take a big portion of that. So we stay in business. We're able to, keep movies going, keep the lights on, so to speak, by selling popcorn and concessions.
Lincoln and other big cities might have the screens and the schedules, but Fairbury, Seward, and Wayne have an undeniable charm and history. These rural theaters aren't just businesses, they're the living rooms of their towns. As long as the lights are on at the Bohnam, the Rivoli, and the Majestic, the spirit of Nebraska's small town cinema remains, one showing at a time.